man has gone missing, and in their absence, the world has changed. In many ways, it has become a wide frontier filled with peril and adventure. The dogs of Pugmire seek to uncover the artifacts that man has left behind, protect the weak, and guard against the forces of the unseen.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Pugmire, What Lies Buried. I'm your narrator, Pope, and I think it's time to go around and introduce these wonderful players and the dogs they will be portraying. First up, M, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing so well, having a nice, chill Sunday afternoon, and I am excited to play Hanklin Foxhound, who is just a giant, adorable baby. He likes to help people around him. He does not like getting hurt. And he is tentatively joining a new group of friends on an adventure and hopes that this adventure doesn't have too much danger.
Well, we'll see about the danger. But someone else who is joining this good group of dogs is Drakku's Oberyn. How you doing, friend?
Oh, I'm doing great. So I am playing Oberyn the Doberman. He's a little on the outsider, but he's excited to have some dogs to be chilling out with, and so maybe he'll make some new friends that won't look at his long giraffe neck and judge him. But yeah, I'm doing great, and I'm very excited to play some good old doggos today.
Awesome. Someone else who plays one of our most excellent dogs is Alicia. How are you doing, friend?
Oh, hey, that's me. I'm Alicia, or Petty, depending on where you know me from. I will be playing Daxi Dachshund. This is all a terrible idea, but, it'll be fun. What do you know? My player's pronouns are she, her.
Awesome. And Celeste, how you doing, friend?
Sup, y'all? I am running behind schedule, but I'm here. I exist. Hi, I'm Celeste. I PLS with way too many underscores. I'm botching my own intro. And I'm playing Raven Rat Terrier. And she is a bit reserved and a bit quiet around these new friends, but is at the very least very grateful that that she's getting somebody to look into the disappearance of her two brothers. And now she can mostly focus on this potentially deadly quest. Deadly? Did I say deadly? It's not going to be deadly. It's not going to be deadly.
Oh, no, not deadly. Dire. Speaking of dire, our good friend Marcus has been plagued by a dire case of gremlins. I don't know to what dark god his tech has offended, but it has. And so Marcus is off trying to slay some draconic gremlins and may be able to join us later. He plays the magnanimous and irrepressible Bubz, and I look forward to his hopeful return. But in the meantime, we have a bunch of good dogs during the Stick Festival, brought together by magic, maybe a little fate. And Bubz is excited to meet all of his new friends. So much so, he is trying to assemble things to do some team building. And so, after the evening ended last time at the Stick Festival, Bubz is up early trying to assemble a unraveled scroll's worth of materials to just start with the team building, which is a list of items on a clipboard. So we will probably just see a lot of Bubz in the background until he has gathered his goods. And in the meantime, I want to check in with the rest of the squad and see what they're up to on this new day. So I think it would be interesting. Where's Oberyn? Does he get up early, or does he sleep in?
He's kind of an early riser. You know, the sun comes up, he gets up. So he typically will spend his mornings just kind of doing some stretches, some very long stretches, the entire body, and probably go about checking over his equipment, making sure that he is ready for the journey that they're about to partake in. He does carry a long sword, so, you know, checking that over, and he's got his shield. And then he did also just receive a pretty cool sounding item, so he's probably also looking into that and checking that out.
Yes, the Sawtooth Scarf. It is these shark-like teeth, but made of metal, that at first just look like decoration, but the chains and the teeth themselves are very strong, that tie it into the fibers of this beautiful but incredibly strong scarf. And just swinging it around, especially with Oberyn's strength and speed, cuts the air. And it's just somewhat awkward. Like, you can use this just rather simply and probably, you know, cause someone a bit of damage, but you feel as though there's a good bit of practice to make this weapon do what it was intended to do. And so it will take some time, some effort, but with it, it may prove to be not just a surprising weapon, but a devastating one. And I think as we see Oberyn practicing, we check in on Hanklin. Is Hanklin an early riser?
Oh yeah, Hanklin's an early riser, up with the sun, if not before. Hanklin has been staying at that generous offer. What was that place called again? Where what was that manor?
Sawgrass Manor, I believe.
Sawgrass, that's right. I would definitely go for a little bit of patrol on the outskirts of Sawgrass, get back in touch with nature and the comforts therein, feel the dirt beneath my paws, smell the fresh green and the dew, listen to that little chatter of birds and squirrels as they run and frolic in the early morn. The best day is a day when you see a sunrise.
There is a lot of sound out here by the Sawgrass Plain. There are definitely birds, but it is that distinctive noise of the buzz of insects and the sound of all sorts of amphibians that greets you this morning. It's a wet, dewy morn, but it's a very striking one. Seeing the sun come over the plain and the clouds having this orange hue that just lights out upon all of that green and tan that makes up the plain. Far in the distance, you can hear sounds of hammering and sawing. Seems like more construction is being put together for another day of festivities back in the village. Speaking of someone who enjoyed the festivities, we check in with Raven. Is Raven an early riser, or is Raven sleeping in?
Raven, sort of out of habit, has always been up with the sun, mostly because, you know, the morning ablutions, but also the morning prayer at the church where she grew up. So she always gets up early, and because she's not presently staying at a church, she actually takes a bit of a walk to a local chapter, trying to locate the local local building for such things and pay a couple tithes.
Oh, well, most certainly. The local village definitely has not necessarily a full church, but has more of a outdoor altar / sort of like amphitheater. There's a small area that's built into side of one of the hills that sort of hides this village. And off to the morning side is this small temple. And you see there doing their sort of morning oblations a shepherd, not just in title, as goes the saying with those that are the spiritual guiders within the Church of Man, but also of the House of Shepherd. And he definitely hears you, if he didn't smell you already. He turns and you see a dog late in his years, gray along the muzzle. One eye that sort of droopy, but the other quite bright. Turns and welcomes you. Good morning, young one.
Good morning, Father.
What can I do for you today?
I'm just here to say my prayers and maybe if there's a dish of tithes, I have a couple plastic I could drop in.
Oh, that's appreciated, but I feel like, again, it's festival time. The plastic would be put to better use making a wish in the fountain. All that goes to the local orphanage. So, spend it there. But yes, you are more than welcome. Would you like company, or are your prayers one that you would like to do in solitude?
I prefer the solitude, if you don't mind, sir.
Not at all. Have a good day. As he shuffles off.
And she sits and she bows her head and she silently just has a good think in addition to her prayers about where she's going and what she's doing and people not there that should be.
And in this quiet moment, everything in my mind is a comic book. So see this beautiful panel of Raven just sitting there in this amphitheater, this temple, open to the air, sunlight coming in from the dawn, long shadow of Raven, this slight dog, but the shadow streaking long across the temple in the sunlight. And then we turn the page. And where do we find Daxi? Is Daxi an early morning riser, or is Daxi sleeping in?
Oh, Daxi's asleep till the last possible minute. She is the definition of a night dog, I suppose. I'd say owl, but that seems inappropriate.
So, we see Daxi curled up in this rather opulent bed, with all these luxurious pillows, blankets, rooms well appointed, but Daxi has already in their time made it her own. I think what rouses Daxi is not any particular sound. It's a smell. And that is most distinctly the smell of whatever Harrison Pug is making for breakfast. And knowing Harrison, it's everything. Everything is being made for breakfast. And so the smell of hams and bacon, sausages, hash browns is what coaxes Daxi out of slumber and to awakeness.
Oh, and Daxi will just kind of like seemingly like sleepwalk out to wherever the food is. Doesn't bother the screen. Just kind of trundles downstairs.
Yeah, and eventually, yes, you come to the same dining chamber, and you just see Harrison, his slight but portly frame, just hauling out from the kitchen another feast. This one actually made by him, and just addressing it all at the table. This massive spread of all these foods. There are carafes of water, apple juice, orange juice, grape juice, maybe a little wine, just darted about this table on top of all of this food. Like, there's an entire roast chicken. And this is breakfast.
Oh, wow. You don't slack on the food, do you? I can appreciate that. Daxi will probably go over and slide the entire chicken closest to her and the wine. Nothing like grapes for breakfast.
Oh, sure. As Harrison rushes back in and brings yet out another chicken, seeing that you have claimed one.
That's a smart doggo. How are you, Harrison?
Oh, quite
And despite
well.
how sleepy Doxy sounds, she's devouring this chicken by herself.
No, quite well. I figured eventually the rest of your company would probably eat food. Though I hope I made enough. I know I wake up quite ravenous, as is the appetites of most of the House of Puck.
Oh, so you're used to feeding people who know how to eat. Slides the other chicken closer to herself. I was being
Fair.
polite before, but if you know what you're doing, I'll go all in.
Fair. He just sort of nods like this isn't his first rodeo and goes back into the kitchen, this time more prepared and with that same sort of perilous balancing act that we've seen him do before, brings out 3 more whole chickens. And that way, like, sets one towards the middle of the table, almost like, okay, you're going to actually have to move to drag this one. And then further along the table, there's another one that's more close to him, but still not at his place. And then 1 chicken just for him.
Gotcha. Good to know. All right. Well, smart placement.
And I think it's at that moment, our other 3 good dogs that aren't rushing off to, I believe one of the notes on the clipboard said something about an agility course, and something involving a log. So yeah, no, Bubz is busy, but the other 3 come in to the wafting smells of another feast.
Holy shit. Oh, sorry, my language. This is a fancy place. This is so impressive, Harrison. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Wait, this
Like-
is for everyone, right? Like, I didn't just assume.
Yes. I made enough for everyone. I think. Like, I usually make. I'm not exceptionally hungry this morning, so I'm only probably going to eat a.
Are you okay?
third
You
of what's
feeling
here?
healthy?
I didn't necessarily get the best sleep, but no, I'm good. I'll just probably have a larger first lunch.
All right. You want me to make you some coffee? I brew a mean pot.
No, I do not need that level of energy this early. No.
Whatever
Gotta
you
pace
say,
myself.
Harrison.
Gotta pace myself.
Hanklin will pull out a chair for Raven and for Oberyn so they can sit down. Can I get this for you? Is that all right?
Oh, sure. Thank you. And he kind of sits down.
I mean, we're all friends here. There's no reason to be so formal.
Right. You're right. And he tries to sit with like a casual friend's posture, just slouched a little. We're all casual.
So
Raven is like piling her plate with sausage, trying to like go a little less because he sees what Doxy's doing and doesn't want to, wants to make sure that there's enough for everyone, as it were.
Oh, don't be shy. There's more where that comes from. Goes in the kitchen and more comes out. You're good.
Sure.
Can I get you another chicken, Daxi? There's another down here.
Oh, I mean, no, not a whole nother chicken, just half of it. I'm trying to watch my weight.
All right, I can do that, and I'm just gonna like, whoop-ah, cleaver a chicken in half.
Oh,
Here you go. Pass it on down.
breakfast at a show. Thank you very much. Digs in immediately.
Oberyn was like mid-plating something and kind of just paused, like, oh, okay, and then finishes.
Did you want the other
putting stuff
half?
on a plate. Oh no, this is fine. Like motions to the sausages and such.
Oh, smells good.
And so we know that there's some sausage consumption. What is Hanklin having?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked. So there are this special little dish on the table that Hanklin notices, and it is obviously some leftover mashed potatoes from last night that haven't been beaten, so it's all freshly whipped, and then chives and bacon bits have been added into the mashed potatoes, and they've been built into these like fluffy little clouds about yay big, and like a little divot in the middle, and an egg has been cracked into the middle of that divot and baked in the oven, so it's got this like little bit of a crisp on the outside, but when you cut into it with a fork, the egg spills out because it's still runny in the middle, and Hanklin, like when it cuts it, dips the potato into that runny egg yolk, and it's just fresh chives, crispy bacon, potato, and eggs. It's delicious.
Always so hungry when we play this game, just immediately.
Why are your
I have learned what this
descriptions of
game
food
is about.
Straight fire.
It's my one good DM strength. I talk about food. It's my love, my true love.
George R. R. Martin, eat your heart out.
I'm all about those Redwall books,
Literally, in
and
this
those
case.
constantly made me hungry when I was little.
Well, we're going to pass that tradition generation here, as yes, there are these, as we see Harrison like covetously like starting to dig into the one chicken, while at the same time around him, like almost like a fortification, are these piles of pancakes. These large, fluffy pancakes. And then behind that is just different, like, gravy boats filled with different syrups. And then behind that are different mounds of different kinds of hashed or roasted potatoes. So you have hash that's mixed with a little bit of egg and cheese, and then just thinly diced potatoes with chives that have been roasted in a little bit of bacon fat, and then like halved potatoes that have been slightly dug out, and then the small like florets of broccoli, and then slathered with cheese over top. And then for the piece de resistance is these shoestring cut potatoes that have been fried on a griddle with bits of ham, a little bit of cheese is over top, and then on top of that is piles and piles of caramelized onion. And he is taking this absurdly large pepper grinder, like insanely large in comparison to his own size, and just manipulating it awkwardly to get ever so little bit of pepper on top of these caramelized onions, whilst at the same time, putting that away, and then there should not be this much grace and speed in a dog this small and portly, but immediately, like, pulling a knife, cutting a bit of chicken, stabbing the chicken, putting it in his mouth, while still manipulating other bits and plates of food around him. Essentially eating this chicken one-handed while still seasoning to perfection the other foods around him. So, in coming up for air in his consumption, what do you all have planned for today? And I should be able to get you that beast of burden you were asking for by of business today.
Obbs, do you know what Bubz is up to? I think I saw him building something.
I think he mentioned something about team building exercises. I think he might be working on that, but I don't really know what that entails.
Well, I reckon we're gonna bond together, get to know each other, and then when you have all that stuff ready, we'll head on out and see that. What was her name again? I should memorize that.
Sari.
Sari, that's right. We're gonna go see Sari in the bog.
Mm-hmm. No, just trying to make certain of a proper beast of burden for the bog. So most draft horses, that's a no-go. The bog lays claim to anything of particular weight plus distribution of said weight. So hopefully my contacts can come up with either a dire bog toad or a moss ox. We'll see. But aside from that, again, enjoy your breakfast. Lunch that I will have ready, should you want lunch, will be second lunch. And that will be around 12 bells. Yes. So at 12 bells, second lunch will be prepared. And then if you all want supper, that is at 7 bells.
And you make meals this large for every meal, Harrison?
Well, not precisely this large for every meal. I mean, when it's just me, I make something about a third this large. But if I have company, I need to make at least,
a third. Wow.
Yes.
You know how to pack it away. Well, I'm sniff my ass. That is impressive. Sorry, that's probably not a way to talk to royalty.
Not a phrase I've heard often. No. But yes, the House of Pug is known for its appetites. In fact, it's probably defined by its appetites.
Hanklin seems embarrassed and is just like, has head down, focusing on plate, hoping someone else will take over because Hanklin's embarrassed himself enough for one royal dinner.
I don't dare to hope that you've heard anything back yet about my brothers.
Bull is thorough, but she is not necessarily fast. And from trying to pull upon some things on the more mystical side, I've not necessarily foreseen or heard anything back from my brethren in the community yet. But we are looking.
It's worth asking. I appreciate it if I haven't made that explicitly clear. And I'll obviously owe you more than a couple favors, regardless of your findings.
Oh, again, you all are undertaking this trip to the Oracle, and then if things hopefully pan out, possibly going and seeing about retrieving the compass. And with that, I think is more that my house and the kingdom will owe you than the other way around. So that's neither here nor there. That's no. Definitely enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the festivities whilst Bubz prepares team building exercises.
He had a log twice as big as Hanklin. I have no idea what he's doing with it.
I have heard tales of dogs of his house enjoying. He almost seems nauseous when he says this next phrase: physical challenges and activities. So yes, I think you will have plenty to do later whenever he's complete.
Well, what are you all doing until Bubz is ready? I don't know about you, but it's been a minute since I sparred. We could see what each other's physical capabilities are a little bit. Of course, with blunted weapons, no need in getting hurt or nothing.
There's like
There
the
are ways
very
to the armory.
There's like the very slightest glint in Raven's eye, and she's like clearly trying to like not be so gung-ho about it, but like she's interested.
All right. I think with this excitement, and now I think Daxi having completed all chicken,
half of it was not her. Half of one chicken was not her.
2.5 chickens complete. I think we turned the page.
You could say she chickened out at the end.
Oh, it
I would say
You're
many
welcome.
times.
Beautiful.
Ow. Okay, we can get through this.
All you gotta do, Pope, all you gotta do is give her the bird.
That pun was pretty foul.
They're all coming for me. debates are debates! And we see on the grounds of the lodge, outside, there is a small earthen ring that is bordered with some inset stones, making a circle. Having gathered weapons of choice, wasters, in the classic circles of training wooden weapons. Everyone has their choices of objects de combat to use should they wish to spar. So, who are the two first in the ring, and what are you using?
Well, Obbs and Raven, do you want to go first? I need to get a feel for the weight of this halberd here.
And Oberyn just kind of like looks down at Raven. It's just sure, if Raven is ready to spar.
Raven grins, and she has the biggest wooden greatsword that she can find, which is slightly larger than her.
Seeing this, Oberyn like cautiously also picks out a wooden longsword for himself.
Okay. I want you both to roll me initiative.
That doesn't seem right.
0 is an invalid value. I don't know how
I don't think that's right at all. I mean, unless he's taken so off guard.
No, roll 20 or drunk.
There's 2 pluses in there. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just type it.
All right. Cool. So, Oberyn, you have the initiative over the dog wielding the greatsword bigger than them.
Yeah. It's not that he's not going to take her seriously, but he is going to definitely not be trying as hard as he can for this first one. So I think he's going to just kind of cautiously try out like a little rounded like
shot?
swipe around. Yeah, like a haymaker, but with a sword. Like a very obvious strike coming in towards her paw.
Okay. Let's see that attack roll.
Okay. Is that still going to be... I'm going to try clicking... Okay.
Okay. That worked. It worked! So, first question is, does a 17 hit Raven?
Yes, just barely.
Okay, so we'll say this damage is non-lethal. So you get a good, wrap of along the wrist as Oberyn takes a relatively telegraphed slash to Raven. Raven, how do you respond?
So I'm not sure if she's picking up on the fact that you're holding back. Because if she is, she's going to respond significantly differently.
I mean, he's not like, ooh, like he's not doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, but he is, you could probably get the sense that he is holding back just like a little bit, though.
Okay. Raven is not holding back. she goes in guns blazing, as it were.
Okay.
A little bit too overzealous, perhaps.
Yes. I don't think a 9 hits Oberyn.
No, unfortunately.
So, Celeste, go ahead and describe to me how Raven, like, overreaches with this attack.
Like, well, first of all, it's not her typical sword, so the weight is a little different, and there's something to be said for what Hanklin said about getting used to the weight. So she puts way more into the strike than she needs to, and it doesn't go wide necessarily, but she, like, goes with the sword kind of carries her a little bit through it, and she winds up, like, next to Oberyn instead of in front of him.
Okay, so significantly out of position. Oberyn, how do you respond?
He is going to just do a quick little sidestep and go for a very gentle, like, tap, like, flat side on the back. Just very gentle.
All right, let's see how that goes. A 3.
No.
Okay.
It's all downhill from
So, I see that not playing Hexcrawl with Susanna has continued its curse. Susie, I love you, but Roll20 hates you, and if it doesn't get its vengeance upon you, it will take its vengeance on everyone else. So, with that, I think this is... I would like for you two to collab on this and how this definitely restrained sort of blow just goes completely wide.
Does Raven, like, pull up into it, and then it sort of, like, bounces off?
I could see that. Yeah. He's trying to... He's got just enough power in it to do what he was trying to do. So if you shifted your weight or moved around, it would definitely throw him off and not do really anything.
Okay. Raven, how do you respond?
Once she gets that sword up off the ground, and it did leave a little bit of a dent, she, like, gets it up off the ground and then immediately swipes upward. A little better. She's getting used to it. Still not a hit.
But I don't think an 11 connects, Oberyn. No.
No.
All right. So, I think with this, especially upon the description and what we've seen so far, is we just see this beautiful panel of like this wooden sword like moving so quickly, that sort of swish motion that we see in comics, but moving upwards, and then it continues going. As I think there's enough force to just sort of also carry the dog attached to it upwards a little bit, and then lands, like, without falling or anything like that, but a bit away from where Oberyn is standing. And Oberyn, how do you respond?
This is the saddest fight. But in my head, this is the funniest. Yeah, I think he's a little off his game. Raven seems a little off her game. So he's gonna try to kind of like end it in a way by going for like a threatening, like having the sword pointed like at a important area or something, just like not probably the neck, like that's the easiest to just point.
Okay.
And just kind of hold there, like, okay, that would have been the shot, you know.
Let's see you try and make it. No.
He just thrusts the sword and it just goes off to the side.
Your attack is completely offline. For those who know their fencing, it is exceptionally wide. I have a feeling Oberyn hasn't fought an opponent this small before.
No.
And so
No.
where a neck and head should be, there is just sword. And so I can just see this sword thrust just kang. Like wood hits wood, and that is all that is there. Raven, how do you respond?
I think she almost like tries to take it as an opportunity to disarm him. So that's what she's going for there. Oh, there we go.
That's one.
Oh! I'm happy for it. This is beautiful.
Okay, so from one storyteller to another, how does this look?
So she finds the rhythm finally and manages to like spin her blade around and knock the blade from Oberyn's hand, and then with a flourish she brings it back and stops just short of Oberyn's neck.
I love it.
Well done.
Gotcha.
And Oberyn has just the smallest little smile, and he's just, that was good. Good job.
Hanklin claps, steps up. Wow, she may be little, but she is mighty. He says to Raven, and then looks to Oberyn. Wow, you've got a lot of control. I see that when you fight, you are not lost to your emotions. That's rare in a dog. Nice.
All right. So who are we establishing?
You both okay?
standing in the room?
No feelings are bruised. Looks like you both did good.
Nah, I'm fine. And she like hefts the sword over her shoulder, and again, it's a huge sword. A dog her size, it almost feels like it's unreasonable for a dog her size to be wielding a blade this big.
Hanklin would never comment on such a thing. Probably gonna get his ass handed to him already.
Yeah.
Well, am I facing the victor here? Raven, you want to go?
Come on.
All right.
And I think as these two dogs square up, halberd to greatsword, I think that's where we're going to take our break. Stay tuned, folks. We've got a lot more good dogs and a lot more fighting to happen. See you soon. everyone, and welcome back to Weave the Tale in this, another episode of Pugmire, What Lies Buried. We just had a wonderful sparring bout between Rat Terrier and Oberyn Doberman, and left off with Hanklin Foxhound squaring up with a halberd against Raven with a wooden greatsword, to just see how these two dogs of, I think, the greatest size disparity go at it. So, let's roll some initiative. All right.
Oh no.
That's a 19 and a 0.
Overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
I hope we're not playing that game, but here we go. So Hanklin, you go first.
So Hanklin steps up into their makeshift ring, right? And he's standing a good 5 feet away from Raven. And he twirls his halberd in his hands, hefts it in his paws, and draws a long, slow breath before falling into an extremely practiced stance. His eyes are wary as he looks at Raven, watching her every move, whichever way she's going to shift her weight. Obviously on the defense. He takes the first strike, his halberd jabbing quick inwards, testing her defenses. And we've got a nat 1. So,
Yeah.
I would like to narrate this nat 1 that Oberon not only did Hanklin's jab was just a little bit too high, but Raven was just extremely agile and just deflects this hard out of the way, throwing Hanklin off balance a little.
All right. Raven, how do you respond?
She deflects that blow, throws him off balance, and then, as she's learned to do with much larger opponents than herself, gets right up in there. Gets right up in, very, very close to him as she tries to respond.
Does a 24
I'm rolling
hit?
hot all of a sudden.
24 absolutely hits. Hanklin's kind of an oaf.
All right. So, Raven, how do you strike?
At the risk of being... She's not holding back. This hurts as it comes across his ribs. This hurts.
Yeah, that's 5 non-lethal. As Hanklin, you get a firm thump right as Raven goes from that parry off, keep getting you offline, and then immediately steps in with full body into this press into just thwack, using the weight and momentum of this large piece of lumber right into your midsection.
Oh!
How do you respond?
Hanklin staggers backwards a step, trying to get some space between the two of them, holding onto his rib, his little snout all wrinkled up as he tries to bite back a little, woo. But he's focused. He's ready for this, and goes for another strike. He's also trying his best not to hold back, but is a little intimidated by Raven's intensity. We have an 8.
An 8.
Poor Hanklin. But yeah, cannot stand up against this, the sheer aggression that is Raven, who is ready for her second win.
All right, Raven, how do you respond as this other halberd shot goes, it doesn't go incredibly offline, but it definitely goes offline. The size of your opponents working against them.
Her teeth, she's all teeth right now, and she is like, there's a lot of aggression in this dog. There's like a hidden well of anger, and she's tapping into it, and perhaps this isn't the time for it, but she doesn't seem to know how to put a stopper on it. And as she goes in, she's very much like still not holding back, still all aggression. Like, she's shown that she can have control, which is a bit like confusing and a mixed message, but like there's issues here. But it's starting to work against her again.
Yeah, in that moment of letting the rage out, how does this exchange now just not quite connect?
Hanklin's starting to catch up, I think. Hanklin's starting to like be able to find the rhythm, Raven's rhythm, and read like her like frantic, like furious movements as she strikes and like stabs.
Yeah, because the fact that she's putting so much emotion into it, it's also a huge telegraph.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Hanklin, how do you strike back?
Again, it's the half skip backwards, trying to maintain a little bit of distance so he can fully get a good swing with his halberd. And does he, is the real question. 17.
17 hits. How does this strike connect?
So it's not like a downward slash, it's more of a stab outwards, catching Raven straight in the chest and trying to shove her backwards, gain himself some distance. And at the same time, even as he hits, he's already in the mindset of coaching. You got this, Raven. Come on, you just stay focused. Getting too distracted now, right? You can do it.
Okay. And as this thrust strikes true, and yet this encouragement comes with a sharp stab of pain. How does Raven respond?
She looks like confused that you're giving her advice. Like, you don't do that to an opponent. There's like a moment where she just like almost completely breaks her character, as it were, and like looks confused. The lines in her face smooth out a little bit, and then she's right back into it. Like almost more ferocious than before.
Oh!
Yeah. Does a 20 connect, Hanklin?
Oh! Yes, definitely.
You're killing me.
All
You're
right.
making me feel so bad.
So this strikes hard and strikes true. Considering it's 7 non-lethal, that's a chunky hit.
Yeah, it is. No kidding.
So how does this exchange play out?
She jumps into it.
That is.
Oh, go for it.
I was gonna say this knocks Hanklin out. So if you want to describe that, go for it, because I'm at 0 stamina points now.
Oh.
I feel so bad. Okay. So she leaps into it, like snarling, like jumps, and like manages to catch like your shoulder, and probably like takes you to the ground with her, and perhaps like hits his head on the way down or something.
Oh. I think this is a ring out.
Ding ding ding.
I think you both like, because there's those stones, and as Hanklin's been moving further and further, trying to get more and more space, like Hanklin's just close to the edge of the ring, and Raven just launches with all this ferocity, all the weight, and thwomp! We see this massive figure and this mass with a figure go tumbling over out of the ring. There's a large, just like, we have this empty ring, and then I think we just have a word bubble that is oof. And then we have this beautiful, like, overhead panel of just Hanklin just sort of, for a moment, glassy-eyed, and Raven there with great sword still clutched in paws on top. And that's where we pick up between everybody. What happens next?
Like, she stood over him for a minute, like, growling quietly, and then, like, her face smooths over and she blinks. Are you okay?
Hanklin, like, blinks and is, like, disoriented, and just like, yeah, wow, got a good hit on that, didn't you? Hanklin will, stand up, all awkward and tall, kind of heft his halberd. I'm glad that, we're on the same side, going forward into the future. He looks just maybe a little bit embarrassed.
Raven also seems a little bit, like, sheepish that she lost her control so much. But she, like... Sorry,
Oh, no, never apologize for winning. You did a great job. And he'll, like, get low and give, like, a little pat on the shoulder with his huge paw. You did real good, Raven. You did real good. I'm a little sore, though. I'm gonna go sit next to Daxi, if that's cool with you.
No, yeah, that's fine. It's fine.
Perfect. I'm gonna just go take a wee little rest. And he's gonna hobble his way, like, holding his back, because it's all stiff now from falling out of the ring, and go over to Daxi. Hey, Daxi, why didn't you tell me that was the worst idea I've had today?
I mean, I've said everything we're doing is a bad idea. I thought I made my stance very clear on what was happening.
Yeah.
But you put up a good fight, though, relatively speaking.
Yeah. I felt like I was kind of like an oaf.
No. There's always someone better. Don't worry about it.
All right. You're right. Don't suppose you feel like getting in the ring?
Oh, what depends. And I use whatever I want to fight.
I reckon that's up to whoever you're fighting. And they both just, like, pan out to, like, looking at the other two who are still healthy.
Oberyn's, like, licking his paw where his, the sword got knocked out of his hand, and he just kind of freezes, like,
I think maybe the fighting's done.
What kind of... Yeah, what do you mean? What weapons could you use?
I mean, it doesn't really benefit me to tell you what it would be before I do it. That would take away the element of surprise, is what we like to call it.
She does have a point.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
But, by asking initially, it is not a lie. If now if I can't use whatever I want, then I will decline.
Well, now I'm just curious.
I know, that's the point.
Well, if you just give me a minute here, I'll recover, and then I'll spar with you, Daxi. Can I spend my stamina point to heal?
Sure.
Okay, let me roll that. I heal for 1. I have 1 stamina point, and I'm gonna hop back up in that ring, and I look fragile. Just so fragile. Come on, Daxi, show us what she got. Limping.
I don't.
You don't think I can take it?
You look like you would be knocked over with a stiff wolf at this point, honestly.
No, I'm sturdier than I look. I'm good. Let's do this. He's so obviously lying. So obviously.
Yeah, just like no, there, and Daxi will just walk over, just paw on the shoulder. Why don't you go sit down? Now you're it's been a rough day for you, but good job. Good job. Pat on the head.
But get so low so that you can pat on the head.
Like,
yeah, Daxi.
Daxi just, like, keeps making the motion until you get low enough.
Mm-hmm. There's like pops and creaks as Hanklin gets all the way down low so that this little dachshund can pat this giant's head. Wow, alright, thanks. That was real considerate. I just between you and me, I'm a little sore.
Alright, go sit.
I'll go to sit like a good dog.
As Hanklin sits, like perfectly timed, there is the sound of a tree being felled nearby. So it is just Hanklin sits and the sound of ka-thunk.
I didn't do that. That weren't me.
And as birds and everything fly away from the nearby tree line that's at the edge of the plain, we just see a Bubz-like silhouette carrying now a felled tree, dragging it along. And we begin to hear the music of the festival, the village nearby, start to swell, as well as the smell of the different sweets and meat stalls beginning to purvey their wares, and a horn blares. And this horn signifying that the second day's festivities and competitions have begun. Now, I want to hear from each of you a detail of these competitions, or a tradition that happens upon the second day of the Stick Festival. So, Daxi, let's start with you.
Let's see. So either an event or tradition that happens on the second day of Stick Festival. I imagine there's this specific kind of like little circle that's on the edge of kind of like the town where this takes place, all lined with like logs, and all the dogs who want to participate, they all sit, and it's a game of tag, but it is specifically just with eyes because it's to test your pace, your patience, and your accuracy. So someone is it, and you look at the dog, you look at whatever dog you want around the circle, and you quickly, it's all done by tracking, kind of like how if you shoot like a laser pointer and somebody follows it, it's like that, but all with the eyes. And then whenever somebody wins, there's the big chorus of "Oh!" or something like that.
There's a giant howl at the end. I love this. And yeah, no, very, very intensive. And my question is this: is this something that is done by dogs of all ages? Is this by like age group, size?
It's actually it's by size typically to make sure the eyes are relatively at the same thing. Age doesn't matter as long as you're all relatively the same size, so you can kind of be at the same eye level, as it were.
Awesome. Fantastic. All right. Let's go over to Oberyn. What's another element of Stick Festival on its second day?
So I think one of the things that pops in my head, kind of building off of that, there's another competition going on that is all about smell. So the dogs there's a very particular smell that they're going to have to differentiate. They have this big pile of things, and the dog that can sniff out and find the particular item first is the winner. And I'd like to say this is probably a kid's game, and they make it something fun, like it's a toy or some other kind of object that's been kind of perfumed up with a certain smell, because it also kind of helps the younger dogs to develop that kind of smell as well.
Due to my understanding of both dogs, what they like to get into, and dog toys, I want to say that this is like there's all these different like plastic balls that have holes in them that contain different like scent items, but the one they're searching for, of course, has cheese.
Yes.
So
like
they're searching for the cheese ball. And so yeah, no, I can already see this with all the puppies, and it is a glorious, cute, and overwhelming sight. On that note, Raven, what's another element of Stickfest?
There's gotta be some manner of eating competition. Like, with as much as food plays into this festival, there's gotta be some kind of, like, eating competition of some description. Are hot dogs a thing? I say hot dogs are a thing, probably.
Yes. Is there a hot dog eating contest? Okay.
No paws allowed. Cute.
No paws allowed.
Hot dog eating contest. No paws allowed. Now, is this a timed event, or is this till we run out of hot dogs?
Timed.
Okay. It is a timed eating competition event. This is a thing that exists now, and I am just trying to mathematically do the gymnastics in my head. Who is the Joey Chestnut of dogs? Because there must be.
You know it's a pug. 100% it's a pug.
Which one? Because I can see so many different dogs in this competition, because there are a number of dogs whose stomachs are just voids. Pugs are just notorious as such. And I am Hawkeye. I love and loathe this Joey Pugnut.
Yeah, Kentucky Hawkeye, yeah.
So Joey is not necessarily from the royal house of Pug, but he's definitely from the house of Pug. I think Joey may be from Muttsville and comes into town just for this competition. Now I'm just picturing a place called Minnesota. And
Like a soda.
yeah, and that's where Joey comes from. So there we go. We now have the legend of Joey Pugnut from the hot dog eating champ. And Hanklin, what's another tradition of Stickfest?
So another tradition of Stickfest is that the pointers of the town, the pointer families, will get all the little pups together, and it's like junior rangers event to see who gets to enter into the summer junior rangers, and like they take them out into the woods and stuff in the summer, and they get to have little adventures and learn what the different scents are and how to be safe in the woods. And so Hanklin goes and volunteers to be the person that they like pass around a raccoon skin, and all the little pups get to smell it, and then Hanklin ties it onto his like little waist and has to go run through the woods and climb trees and cross rivers and stuff, and all the little pups have to track him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just polling our good dogs here, is the second day of Stickfest sort of sponsored by the Rangers?
Oh, I'm here for that. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Rangers who aren't out about doing the work, they make sure that they're all home for the second day of Stickfest. If not a bit before, to help set everything up and just spend time with their community, with their families, and hosting all of these different events that sort of celebrate the senses of what it means to be a dog, and the good work that one can do. And yeah, no, that is the elements of Stickfest on this day. Now I want to do one more round where I want to check in with each of y'all as to what are you doing on this second day of Stickfest, as we just see an ever growing silhouette in the background and the outskirts of town, cutting back and forth between these moments of Bubz constructing his projects. So I think first we'll go with Raven. What is Raven up to on this second blessed day of Stickfest?
I want to say she's in one of the contests, the one with the eyes.
Okay, I want you to give me 3 perception tests.
Woo! 3, you say? I think
Yes.
that's notice in this system?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's notice.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to make 3 rolls.
Ooh.
And we'll see how these compare. You win your heat.
Yeah.
So suffice to say, Raven's having a good day so far. Now let's check in with Oberyn and see what you're up to.
Yeah, day 2, he's still just super happy, just dog watching. Just he'll probably be watching the competitions, and if he noticed that Raven was doing the looking competition, he'd probably kind of sit on the outskirts and just be like, "Yeah, Raven, let's go." But very quietly, as to not distract.
Yes, but I am all about this, but I must ask a question because as everything is, thanks to Lynn, is in this beautiful art. And I'm just now picturing again in this comic book in the mind. Oberyn's sitting dog watching, but whenever you even have something somewhat static, there has to be either, is there a pennant in his hand? What is he holding? What food? What are we getting in these different panels of seeing Oberyn, like watching these events throughout the day?
I like to imagine each panel is a different food. And he is just trying a little bit of everything. So maybe at first, you know, I heard rumor there was a hot dog contest. Like, what's a hot dog? He's gonna go try a hot dog. Not in the contest. He's not about that. But he'll try some desserts if there's some cold something or other to lick. Maybe some frozen vegetables so you can just crunch them at the end. But yeah, he is just trying all different sorts of food from as many booths as he can as he's wandering around.
Okay, so I want us all to picture like these like triptych panels of Oberyn. One with, do you try the hot dog plain at first? How do you have your hot dog?
Probably plain at first, and then he probably realizes, oh, this isn't bad. So he might try some other stuff on top of it.
Okay, so we see the first dog. I have a feeling we're going to see a second dog with toppings. And then on a stick, because it's festival food, best festival food is on a stick, is a giant frozen honeyed carrot on a stick.
Yes, perfect. And then the stick is a collectible that you keep afterwards for Stickfest.
Collectible sticks from the vendors for Stickfest. Yes! So good. All right. So what is Daxi up to?
Daxi is going around to all the various, like, guess the number of insert thing here game. So, like, guess the number of bones, guess the number of, I don't know, like, rings in the street, like, you know, yeah, depending on your perspective. Guess the number of puppies under the apron, so on and so forth. Any guessing game, that's what Daxi's doing.
Okay. Give me... Is this more based upon Daxi's experience, Daxi's just raw intelligence, or Daxi's powers of observation?
From between. Let's go with. Okay, wait, hold on. When you say power of observation, is that wisdom based? Because that will change my answer.
That would be notice.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Wait. Yeah. So, let's see. Let's go with straight in. That's more. It's just like okay, just
okay. Give me 5 intelligence tests then.
5. Oh boy. Okay.
Straight up intelligence.
Straight in. All right, we can do that. You just click that. Okay. No, I can't. So we will do it this way. I'll move the microphone away a little bit. Oh boy, that didn't go well. Middle one went fine. A little bell cover going on.
We see Daxi trying all these different tests. And like the first two do not go so well. The third, absolutely on the money. Like win. The fourth one, the puppies under the skirt, the puppies were stacked on top of one another and they were holding that quietly. Absurd. And then
well, that's just ridiculous.
And then it was a jelly bean in the jar. You didn't get it precisely right, but you were the closest, so you won that one.
I like to think the middle one that she got right was like, how much does this like ham or something weigh? It's like 47.3 pounds. Just like that one immediately.
Yes. No.
Didn't even touch it. Just looked at it.
The cured ham that was almost the size of Raven, you got right on the money. Just absolutely. And you get to keep the ham.
Oh, this is gonna be great second dinner.
And you also get the jar of jelly beans. So you have a full jar of jelly beans and a giant ham. Oh, this is delightful. And Hanklin, what are you up to?
So Hanklin first went to visit the shepherds so that he could get a little bit of healing, so he is not quite so sore when he goes on this run with the little pups. And he shows up at the rangers, explains, reminds him of who he is, because he hasn't always come to this town, though a lot of people do know him. And they get him set up, and he thought it was just gonna be one little raccoon pelt in his waistband, but actually they made a full-on like cloak for him. And so he gets down, hey there, puppos. Let's go ahead and take a big sniff of this, all right? Now it's real important that when you breathe it in, you don't just notice the smell of the raccoon. You notice everything about it, how old it is, where it's been before, anything else that's attached to its pelt. That's real important. It can come in handy for when you are hunting. All right, so remember, I can climb trees, I can cross little streams, and I want you all pups to stay together, understood? There's a chorus of nodding and agreements. All right, now give me your best woo.
And there's just a choir of all these like adorable, like soft, but trying their best woos.
I know you can do better than that. I said, give me your best woo. Oh! And Hanklin joins in, and he's got like this real deep voice that just like echoes across the entire festival. And then he's like, all right, now watch me for as long as you can, but don't you start until the adults are ready, and don't you leave those adult sides. Understand?
And the choir of nods is back.
All right. On your mark, get set, and Hanklin just takes off at a dead run, and he just is going for it, running for the woods, and starts going through the whole motion of climbing trees and like jumping as far as he can out of the tree to like leave a gap between the tree and like where he ends up. So they'll have to do like little circles around it, going wider and wider to find his path, and goes through the whole thing, sets up an entire little course for these little puppos to follow this scent of this raccoon.
And as we see Hanklin jumping through the countryside, And then, like 6 beats later, this large group of puppies being looked after and safeguarded by 3 of the rangers, coming up behind, making sure they all stay together, and they're being looked after in their hot pursuit of Hanklin. We see something that can only be described on the horizon outside of the village as a roller coaster has been, or something akin to it, erected in the distance as Bubz just passes through the frame, now with like carrying blueprints, a saw clutched in his teeth, one of his paws holding a can of paint, as finally sits down on that bench right by that ring, looks up with just the biggest grin on his face. And that is where we'll end today's episode. So many good dogs. I love this show. And thank you all so much. Those of you watching live, VOD, YouTube, wherever you are, you're as much part of this as we are. An audience, a story is nothing without its audience. Thank you all so much. And now, to let you find these amazing people and what they are up to. And first off, Em, how are you doing? And where can we find you? What are you up to?
Oh man, I'm doing well. You can find me on my Twitter, at AnthramaStreams, or you can find me at my website, www.level1geek.com. We blog about how to get yourself comfortable with playing TTRPGs, how to get your non-nerdy friends to play TTRPGs, and just general advice, how to be a good player, how to be a good DM. We're all about making sure this community is welcoming for everyone, because you don't have to have a geek degree to play RPGs. You can start at level 1 like the rest of us.
Fantastic. Drakku, how are you doing, friend? Where can we find you? What are you up to?
I'm doing so good. I'm just so happy we all got to woo at some point during the stream. But yes, I'm doing great. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me at Drakku. I've got my schedule posted on there of where you can find me throughout the week. You can also catch me here on Twitch on my own personal channel, Drakku3690, because somebody stole the original username. And I'm actually starting to stream again on my personal channel, and tonight is the first stream that I will be doing since like last July. So yay, finally getting back into it. Very excited. As far as TTRPGs go, again, you can find me here on Sundays with this lovely group of good doggos. I'm so happy. You can find me on Rule of Lore on Tuesday nights at 6:30 Central, playing a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign called In Too Deep. We're in Season 2 right now. I play a kobold. It's amazing and fun. And then you can also, if you need a podcast to listen to, I am part of DN Disaster Story. You can catch us on pretty much all places where you can download podcasts, and you can follow us on Twitter at DN Disaster Story. And it's great. We're a bunch of characters whose dump stat is intelligence. So
good to know. Someone good to know would be my friend Celeste. How you doing? What you're up to?
Oh. Hi, I'm Celeste PLS with way too many underscores on Twitter. I'm Celeste Shepherd here on Twitch. I don't do a whole lot of streaming of my own, but you can catch me out over on other people's channels. Like, well, I was gonna be on Blue Rose Week 9, but there was a little bit of a shuffle around, and I wound up playing this past Friday. If you want to catch the VOD, that's gonna be up on the YouTube channel, and it's right here on Twitch. It was the most chaotic gay I think I've ever been in my life, and that's saying something. The second time, I managed to turn the whole party into a polycule. I don't know how I managed it, but it happened. So, that was a good time. Definitely check that out. And then maybe tonight, over on twitch.tv/MattTab7, we might be coming back from our hiatus in Masked Sunset City, where I play the messenger, aka Lucas Nisk, who is a speedster trans man who appears to be favored by the gods and is maybe kind of friends with one of them. But yeah, so that might be coming back tonight. It's going to be at 9:30 p.m. EST. So if it's on, keep it on my Twitter. And then, of course, there's undisclosed non-disclosure agreement project that I am still working on and still waiting to be able to announce with bated breath. Trust me, I have like a whole draft tweet written up, and my finger is constantly hovering over the send button. The second I'm able to say anything, it is going to be on my Twitter. So go follow me.
That is good to know. Someone else good to know is the Punisher of the group. Alicia, what are you up to, friend? Where can we find you?
That me? Oh my goodness.
Yes, you.
Yes. I'm Alicia, or Petty Energy, or Energy9, depending on where it is. I'm over at NNG98 over on Twitter. I tweet things. Sometimes it's about snakes. Sometimes it's about, I don't know, maybe puns is the word that comes to mind. I don't know. That seems might be false. Who knows? Follow me and find out. I'm also stream on Twitch on Sunday and Sunday nights on my own channel. So in about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depends on if I get my act together, I'll be over there. We'll see what I'm playing. Might be more Monster Hunter Rise. Might be more Wingspan. Who knows? There are other places you can find me. Also I'm also one of the cast member of the Hollow Flames podcast. Go ahead and give a follow over on Hollow Pod. If you can't find the app, have it on my Twitter because I always retweet things I'm in. There's probably things I'm forgetting because memory is not my forte, but wordplay is.
Yes, most certainly. Someone whose wordplay we definitely miss is Marcus. You can find him over at BestKindaWorst on Twitter. He is amazing, and hopefully next week those gremlins that have plagued his computer and audio issues will all be in the clear, and all of our good dogs will be reunited for what is shaping up to be an afternoon of events, which I am greatly looking forward to. Speaking of looking forward to, I would look forward to all of you to join us in our Discord over on Weave the Tale. And if you are enjoying this show, please let us know in the Discord and know some of other details about Stickfest. Like, I'm certain there are a number of different events of the senses that we did not get to. We got to smell, we got to sight. We definitely got, in a way, to touch and taste, but we didn't get to sound. So I want to hear some of the sound-based competitions if you will join us in this Discord and share your wonderful ideas with us. Again, Weave is all about community, and we'd love to have you there. As for myself, I have been your humble narrator, Popeworldbuild on Twitter, Popeworldbuild on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams, and I am hoping to, like Celeste, get back into one of my favorite ones tonight over on MattTab7 at 9:30 p.m. Eastern for Masked Sunset City. I get to play a young thunder deity adjacent character. So if you want to see me play someone who is mighty of body but not necessarily of mind, definitely tune in for that. And if you're just need more of my silly face, Monday night 8:30 p.m. Eastern, back here on Weave the Tale for some Simbaru. I feel bad for Maverin. He's just having not the best time. He tries, though. He really tries. And then Wednesdays over on Follow Black Cats. If you want to see me at my absolute worst, come see the most evil disaster spy I have ever played in Chernobog. The team is in the Cayman Islands, and it was just supposed to be a quiet honey trap op done by the ladies. Instead, half the team is in hot pursuit in a car chase. Multiple rounds have been fired. The team is completely split up, and Chernobog has been left on his lonesome without knowing precisely how bad the op has gone down. Nothing could possibly be going wrong. And then again, if come back and see us all here on Friday nights for more of that Blue Rose, where I have to figure out how to play the game. I still have to make a character. Ah! So, see what I managed to get myself into with one of Green Ronin's great hits. And then come back here Sunday for more of this amazing show. I love these people so much. Love all of you. Take care of one another. The world's dark enough as it is. Take care of yourselves. Love you. See you all next time. Bye.